Imagine a 2-hour movie where two things happen.
Hello, hello, and welcome to the Royds Review Podcast. I'm Rob.
And I'm Andy.
And we are back once again this week talking about Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scargiver. Andy, how is your liver?
It's all right, Rob. It's same as always.
That's good. How are you doing now?
I'm good. I'd be better if I didn't watch this movie. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Okay.
And it's only all right because we had to watch this movie. I would have been much better.
Right. More like Rebel Moon Part 2, The Caregiver. Who's that? Not me. I don't give a shit.
Oh, you said caregiver. I thought you said hair giver. Like someone's walking around giving them little rabbits.
Oh, or like little locks of their own hair.
Yeah, they're like, oh, this is one's cute, one's gross.
Yeah.
I hate rabbits.
Oh, no. Robbie.
Andy, is this the first time you've seen Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scargiver?
Yes, this is both This is both the first and last time I will ever watch this movie.
This is a pseudo hot and fresh because this was released on Netflix, and we're also doing this like a week late.
Yeah.
We're just following up on Rebel Moon Part 1, and what scares me is, judging by the end of this movie, there might be a Rebel Moon Part 3?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see anybody talking about this, which makes me think nobody's watched it.
This was hidden. When I went to Netflix to watch this, I had to search for it.
Yeah.
And then when I searched for it, it said number 3 in movies today. So people on Netflix are watching it, but Netflix is making it very hard to find.
I think that, because I remember when this was first announced, they were like, we're doing 2 movies and a video game. And there's going to be a whole bunch of off-shooting things like comics and all this stuff. And I don't think any of that's going to happen. I think it's just going to be 2 movies and we'll never hear this again.
That's very, very possible. Because you are right. I haven't heard anyone talking about this.
Because it's nothing.
This felt like the second half of the one movie Zack Snyder wanted to make. Andy died. This bored Andy to death.
Sorry, I choked and then my computer took a shit. I agree with what you said.
Because this isn't a movie.
No.
This goes for 2 hours and 2 minutes, and there's a lot of slow motion farming at first.
Yeah, and it's really just like the synopsis is like, oh, we got to prepare for war. They prepare for war, and then war happens.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's why I said at the top, there's 2 things that happen. Preparing for war and doing war.
I enjoyed your intro. It was very Twilight Zone. Imagine a world.
Yeah.
Should we just get into talking about Rebel Moon Part 2?
Sure.
We open up, Anthony Hopkins is giving a recap of the first movie. It ends very ominously with, or so they believe.
Ooh.
Because then the bad guy who died at the end of the first movie is just brought back to life or something.
He's fine.
Yeah, he's totally fine. We hear a really sad song as we see Cora and Gunnar entering a village. You know what a big problem I have with this movie is?
The whole thing?
Well, first off, I do want to say, we're going to shit on this a lot. There are some cool shots, I thought.
I agree.
I'll call out the positives when we get there. But yes, most of it. I hated, so in the first movie, she's Cora. Because that's the name she's going by. And then when it's revealed who she really is, it's Aurelius or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Can we stick to a name, please?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, to piggyback on what you were saying about shitting on this movie, I think we talked about it last. So, like, we don't want to watch a movie and then just like shit on it. Like, that's not our goal here. We're down to, you know, nitpick and because like that it's a movie review podcast, you know, like you're gonna get that. But like when you there's more bad than good here. Like, and we'll, like you said, we'll mention the good. Like we're not snobs. Although Robbie's name is Robbie Snobby.
It is. That's my
name,
full.
Robbie Snobby.
That's
Yeah.
my full Christian name.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. Like, just listen to our other episodes, and you'll see that we have nice things to say about movies as well. You know, if this is your first episode, you know.
If this is your first episode, though, like you didn't even listen to our episode on Rebel Moon.
Yeah, but even that, we're shitting on it. I mean,
yeah, but they tuned in again, so they must have thought we had something right to say.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Well, the King's gays, more like the King's homosexuals.
Very nice, Eddie. That was really good.
Thanks, man.
Oh, man. Can we get a laugh track in there for that one?
You know, I said that to my wife, and she was like, you shouldn't say that. It's bad. I was like, how is that going to offend anyone? She was like, no, it's not. It's just bad. It's not a good joke.
I thought it was good.
Joke's on her.
What was the joke?
Everybody's laughing.
Exactly. What do you think of all these sad songs we hear during this movie? Because while we're seeing Cora and Gunnar enter a village, or Aurelius, or the Scargiver, or whatever we're calling her at this point, what do you think of all these sad songs we hear? Because I don't like them.
Yeah, I have a feeling that they're supposed to like move me, make me feel something, but how do I feel something when I have no idea what's going on? Like, I mean, I have an idea because it's very simple and basic and generic and derivative. But like, I don't give a shit because I don't know any of these people.
Right.
So like, you playing a sad song, I don't care. I don't care because I don't know anybody.
Well, the first movie, there were so many characters that it's like, who am I supposed to focus on? And now they're all back again because the first movie starts in this village and we meet all these villagers who ultimately do really nothing for most of that movie.
Yep.
And then the rest of the first movie is all right, let's get a band together, and they get the whole team together, and now they're all just together.
Yeah, like you can't end a movie where everybody finally gets together. Like, they didn't do anything.
Yeah, I don't care.
So, like, this whole thing should have been one movie with a lot of edits, and you'd have something.
Well, the first person who, like, dies of consequence in the first movie after the leader of the village was that guy they meet at the very end who leads that army.
Yeah. Yeah,
like,
that guy
he dies.
we just met.
Yeah, it's like, I don't care. We just met him. Who fucking cares?
Yeah, this is Zack Snyder's problem. He had it in Batman vs. Superman. Like, why do we care about these characters? You haven't really told us who they are.
Yeah. And that combined with all the shit of this name, for me at least, I don't know if this was an issue for you, but I kept writing Cora, and there are times where I'm going, do I have the wrong person?
Yeah, Cora's her farmer name, and the other, like, arithmetic is her her other name.
Oh, jeez. So we see the village talk. We see Jimmy the robot looking over stuff, and apparently the rest of the village hasn't shown up to the feast because they feel ashamed that they had to ask for help. That's stupid.
It is stupid. And you know what else is still stupid? The aesthetic of the farm.
Oh, yeah, it's terrible.
You're in a log cabin, but you got electric doors, you got spaceships, yet there's a floating platform that they put their hay on. A floating platform. And then they're all wearing, like, drab, like, they look really itchy, like, really shitty farm clothes. Like, guys, we have space travel.
I have a theory about this, and it's my same theory that I have in Star Wars, because this is something Laura and I were talking about during the movie, because we weren't really paying attention at times.
Yeah, it's hard to. They don't keep your attention.
But I think, all right, so in space, you know how one planet is like millions of years ahead of another planet?
Yeah.
In these universes, I think it's the same concept, where one planet is years ahead of another one. So that's why we see in both this and things like Star Wars, that's why we see these planets who are, some of them are so developed and so, their technology is so much more than these other farming planets. And I think a part of that reason is because they are thousands of light years ahead of them, meaning their timeline and the year they are is ahead of where these farm villages are. But because we have things like jumping galaxies and these time warps and all these weird things, I think what you see is these people wind up leaving some of this technology behind.
Sure.
So if you cut what I'm saying right now and just put it out there on Instagram, I sound like a madman.
Nah, I mean, I get what you're saying. I think it works better in Star Wars because, like, in Star Wars, everything has a similar aesthetic. Like, everything, like, even, like, on Luke's planet, like, yeah, it's like a weird farm, but, like, when you go in there, it still, I mean, to my memory, it still looked
I don't know,
like
dude,
pretty much
because
everything else.
when you go to Luke's, you see Uncle Owen, and they just live in, like, a cave.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember it being like a pretty clean, like, white room. Am I wrong?
It is. It is, but it's like white sand, and it's just like carved out of a cave.
Really?
Yeah. Whereas you go to places like Coruscant or like other planets and stuff, and they have like skyscrapers and shit.
Right.
And
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll let this slide. I still don't like it.
But at the same time, those places still have like speeder bikes and hovercrafts.
Right.
Which we don't see on, because we don't see, they're riding horses and shit in this movie.
Yeah, and like that again, like a floating platform, and then everything else is like 1800s. It's weird.
Oh, I don't disagree. That's just my theory.
Okay, I'll take it.
A rambling, nonsensical theory. The heroes vow to show the village how to fight. Cora and Gunnar talk. As they're talking, this is when I noticed this movie looks like shit.
In what way?
It just looks like it's in a box.
A lot of it looks like they're, it's on a set. Yeah.
Yeah. Cora and Gunnar have intercourse. Afterwards, Gunnar, like a psychopath, asks Cora about her background. They are laying there naked, having pillow talk. And he's like, so, what traumatic experience brought you here? She's like, oh, I killed a kid. And then they fucked again.
Weird.
That's how it happens.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a well-told story.
They have sex. He goes, so, what's up with you? That's like if you had sex with a woman, and then afterwards, like, so, you haven't seen your father since you were like 2, right? Why don't you tell me about that?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you think now's the time for it? Because we get the flashback to Cora's time with the bad guys, and Belisarius kills the king and his wife, and then Cora shoots the little girl, and we see a bolt of magic lightning or whatever.
Yeah.
Did you notice the weird racist shit Belisarius yells?
Yes.
Something about ethnic impurities, which, where did that come from?
Well, they're all Nazis. They've been, like, they look like Nazis. They act like Nazis.
Even their symbol is like, okay, we get it.
Yeah.
But,
I will, for the kings and the queens, don't they look silly? They're wearing gold crowns. They got like red capes. Like that's like baby's first king. Like, come on. That's like the burger. He looks like the Burger King king.
I love baby's first king. It's like a Fisher Price castle.
Yeah, honestly, it looks like the fucking BK king. Remember the commercials? He looks
Yes!
like that. That's stupid.
That's because these movies, like you've said this before, he makes movies for idiots.
Yeah.
Because this is what, if you ask the average American or like a 13-year-old boy, what does a king look like? They're going to describe a gold crown and a red robe.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I have a couple questions. Number one, Cora, why were you working for the Nazis?
Real quick, thank you so much for listening. If you want to send us some feedback, send us an email at roydsreview@gmail.com. That's ROYDSREVUE@gmail.com.
You could also find our music on Spotify, iTunes, wherever you get your music by searching The Royds. That's ROYDS. We have 2 albums and a Christmas song. Hope you like it.
It's a great question.
What's your what's the inner machinations of your mind look like? You big time racist? What's going on? Number 2, why didn't she just kill him? When he was like, oh, she killed the king and the queen. Get her. She kills everyone else, but she hesitates to kill him and then runs away.
I have no idea.
What? Like, explain that in this movie. Do they have a past? If they do, why? He seems like a terrible person.
Great questions.
Am I supposed to root for this former Nazi? I'd rather not.
I think it's supposed to be a redemption story.
For a Nazi?
Andy, I think they're called the Imperium or the Mother World. Or that's another thing, I'm not sure, because they have 8 different names for it.
I call them Nazis.
Yeah, you keep saying it. I hear you. That's definitely who they represent.
It's bad.
Yes, I agree. I don't disagree with that.
You know what else is bad? Nazis.
Again, I agree with that.
I'll say anything.
You're crazy, man. You're woke.
Listen. Not a lot of people will say that.
So I think we're supposed to look at her like Oscar Schindler.
Okay.
But I would argue not the movie for it.
Yeah, I would argue that Schindler's List is a better movie than Rebel Moon Part 2.
Whoa, now you'll say anything.
I'll say anything.
This quartet is just playing as Belisarius kills the wife and shit, like the king and the
bags.
queen.
They got bags on their heads. What's going on? These the king and queen don't seem like good people either.
No.
They like, play for us with the bag on your head. Sir, I can't breathe.
Again, this ethnic impurities thing, I know they're supposed to be Nazis, but that comes out of nowhere because we don't talk about that at all during the first movie, to my recollection.
As far as I know, it is absent completely.
Like, just have the symbolism. I don't need to yell it. It's so like, whoa.
Yeah.
When we get more pillow talk, Cora is all sad because she's like, we are more than a weapon. And then again, they fuck again. She's like, yeah, I killed a kid. Let me jump your bones.
I killed the kid. Does that get you going?
He's like, not real. Oh my God.
Like, actually, yes. Uh-oh. What's wrong with me?
The village farms in slow motion.
Yeah. And then some slow-mo corn shucking.
Yeah, exactly. And then Noble demands to be released. And they're like, oh, you gotta pass a test. And he kills a dude. They're like, that's you passed.
Yeah.
And then we get more slow motion farming.
Yeah, we see the general fill up a water bottle in slow motion.
Oh,
it's literally like 2 minutes of him filling up a water bottle and drinking it.
I paused it at this point and I went, we are 20 minutes into this movie and I'm almost ready to call it. Andy, can we do a different movie?
Yeah. This is I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
Yeah. We get more farming. And then Noble realizes that the private they had left behind to look after the villagers is going to side with the villagers.
Yeah, that seemed really half baked. Like he keeps talking to them and he's like, "Yep, everything's tip top over here,"
Yeah.
and then they're like, "Huh, I guess we'll," and then they just figure the whole fucking thing out.
Yeah.
And then they didn't. I figured that he was going to like meet them when they touch down, and he's like, "Yep, everything's good over here," and then it would be like an ambush or something. But he's nowhere to be found. He's like with the civilians, and nobody's asking questions about it. Like, it's weird. Why did you have that to begin with?
It's also like, how did he just know that he? Oh, well, I guess he's siding with them.
Yeah,
What?
weird.
Tell us how you figured that out, because you're the only one who seemed to have figured that out.
Yeah, this guy, and he does it like 3 times throughout the movie. He's like, he just figures out what's going on. Like he does it here, and later when he gets the when they go to the place, he's like, "Oh, all the women and children in that building. All right, let's go there." And then later they're like, "There's a woman on board," and he's like, "Oh, it's her. It's definitely her." Like, how do you know? There's a billion villagers, but like, I don't know.
That I was okay. I was totally fine when they were like, she's on board, and because they said she's on board and she's taken out a bunch of guys already.
Yeah, makes sense.
And so like that to me is like, oh, like we know she's a badass. We know she can wipe people out. That I had less of a problem with.
Sure, same. That's the least offensive out of all of them.
Yeah, because I feel like at least that we're establishing that she has a reputation.
Yeah, for being a Nazi.
Very good. So we're at a dinner later on, and this lady's presenting our heroes with some gifts. I guess it's the thought that counts. I legit looked at Laura. I go, what are these, like pillowcases or something?
Yeah, she was like, "I made you all a blankie."
Laura said they were like banner flags, which makes a lot more sense.
Oh yeah.
That you'd like carry off into like battle and war. And I was like, yeah, but I like the idea that she just made them pillowcases.
Yeah, like really itchy pillowcases.
The village celebrates. General Titus just starts singing. Okay.
Fuck that.
Jimmy the robot continues to just look on. Cool, dude.
I hate it when like everybody's like, "Hooray, hooray, hooray," and then he walks in, he's all sad, and he just starts singing something in a what I'm assuming is a made up language.
Yeah.
And again, how am I supposed to feel anything? I don't know anyone.
Or how about this? Since this is probably a made up language, we're going to look really bad if someone writes to us and be like, hey, man, that was like Swahili or some shit.
Yeah, there's like, oh, shit.
Well, our apologies. But if this is a made up language, give us the actual words and maybe it'll mean something to me. Like,
I don't know.
Did you watch with subtitles?
Yeah.
The subtitles were the made up language.
Yep.
What the fuck are they singing? I don't know.
Now, here's a question. Do you think that actor, I forget his name, and I also don't want to butcher it, but do you think that they were just like, "Hey, make up a song
No.
with these words," or do you think he had to memorize that gibberish?
I think he had to memorize gibberish.
What an A-lister. Honestly, to act in any of this, and I think for the most part, all the acting is very good in this.
Yes. Oh, the acting is not the problem.
No, not at all. And
not
like
in any way.
To be able to bring something to this really speaks to the talent of the actors and actresses. Because if I were in this, I'd be like, I am not inspired by this at all. I mean, then they'd show me like a big stack of cash. I'd be like, oh, okay, I got it. But I don't know. Like, even like they'll be crying and shit. I'm like, how did you bring yourself to cry over this gobbledygook? You know?
It's absolutely a made up language.
Okay.
I just Googled it. Oh, here we go. Oh, no, that's not. I wound up on a website, and all your questions about Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scargiver, answered. Is one of them, why was it made?
Who is this for?
Yeah, like, One of the questions is, did the cast really harvest all that wheat? Shut the fuck up. Not even reading the answer.
It's because nothing happened in this movie. So like the questions are so like scraping the bottom of the like the bottom of the barrel is fucking, you ripped it open, now you're in that fucking dirt because there's nothing in this movie.
Here's a question. What's the song General Titus sings? One of many emotional moments leading up to the final battle for Velt is a small scene in which General Titus sings a song meant to empower the village warriors by venerating our gods, our ancestors, through remembrance and celebration of them. The song was written by guitarist and vocalist Lionel Luki, I hope I pronounced that right, in a hybrid of African languages spoken in Benin. A hybrid of African languages spoken in Benin. Benin? B-E-N-I-N.
That's crazy. Lionel Richie wrote that.
And yes, so that is actually him singing. That's pretty cool. So I don't understand. No, it's a hybrid of African languages spoken in a fake language, it seems like to me. I don't know how that works.
I don't know. Either way, it sucks.
Don't you like how we totally derailed the podcast to figure that out? And when I say we, I mean I.
Wow.
Are you proud of me yet, Dad? The next morning, Titus wakes everyone up by ringing the bell. They start planning their defense. They start putting the grain in the village. That's a really smart idea. You know me, I'm a sucker for process. And I did like the little planning when they're telling, all right, we're going to put the grain in the village so they don't fucking just shoot us all to death.
Yes, that was good. I enjoyed that. And I also, we'll get to that later. I liked one other thing about this movie.
Jimmy the robot watches villagers pull Cora's ship out of like a crater or some shit or like a hole. And then we get this scene where they're all just sitting around talking about their backstories.
Oh, my fucking God. My God, Robbie. I have so much to say about this.
First of all, I ranked them worst to first.
Good. That's good.
I ranked them. And would you like to go over my ranking and we'll talk about them in my ranking?
Yes. Well, to backtrack,
yeah,
he's teaching everybody how to fight. And like he hands like some farmer an assault rifle.
Yes.
And she's just like, all right, tuck in your elbow and keep both eyes open. And she's a sharpshooter. Boom. She's a sharpshooter. She blasted the head off that thing, no problem.
Yeah. I liked when Gunner shot it and the guy goes, a true professional. Or whatever he said. Yeah, I did enjoy that.
Fuck that. Anyway, let's get to your rankings, Robbie.
So I think the worst backstory, because it is the most generic, was the short-haired woman.
See, I don't remember.
So this is the woman. So
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, hers was just a very generic backstory of her home got blown up and she got saved by the people we met at the end of the first movie.
Yes, okay, I remember.
This was just your generic, oh, they destroyed my home and I became a fighter backstory.
Yep.
Lame.
Yeah.
Then, next, I ranked Tarek.
Who's that?
When he was talking about my family was royalty.
Oh, the hippogriff guy.
Yeah. He says, I lost my mother. Dude, you watched her jump. Just stop her from jumping.
Yeah, you just watched. And she fell in slow-mo, so you had plenty of time.
But, like, granted, you couldn't save your dad, who tried to do the right thing. But you could have saved your mom. But this is where we start getting into a problem I have where, hey, the story of Tarek is a more interesting story than this movie.
Yeah. What about well, who's next? Who's next, Rob?
Next I have Nemesis. That's the woman who turns herself into a cyborg.
Yes.
That shit was lit when we see her cut off her own arm.
Yeah, that was cool.
But a big problem I have with this movie is they kept cutting away every time there was a violent act. Yeah. So, like, someone would cut off someone's head and they'd cut away. It's like, come on, it's on Netflix.
Yeah, I don't understand.
I thought that was a cool backstory because she literally was like, you know what? You destroyed my village. I'm going to get revenge. And she literally just turned herself into a cyborg. She cut off her own arms and shit. That was cool as shit.
How'd she get the cyborg arms on?
I have no idea.
She
Hey.
cut off her arms.
Would have been cool if they showed it.
Yeah, she's like with her mouth just putting these cyborg enhancements on her stub.
But like, I'm wondering if maybe a better route for this movie would have been to spend more of this time talking about their backstories.
Robbie, even the best backstory here is pretty fucking lame.
That is wrong. Titus backstory, lit. Give me this movie. Give me a Titus movie, 100%. I'm watching the shit out of it.
I don't know.
He's a general who says, please kill me and save all my men. But he turns on, but the guy says, sure. And he goes, hey, you know what? No, we're going to kill all your men right in front of you. Yeah, no, that's lit. That's an interesting story.
Yeah, but we see what happens when he just like becomes a drunk.
Yeah, but give me the whole story. Just let me watch
the whole
that
thing, I guess.
You know,
yeah.
That's a much more interesting story than what we're getting here.
I guess, but I think like when it all comes down to it, it's going to be lame. It's these are like, this is Zack Snyder. This is just like little droplets of cool throughout a really lame, droplets of cool in a lame ocean.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, it's just, and none of it's like truly original.
No,
None of it. Not a fucking sniff.
No, absolutely not.
Well, I thought that this scene was fucked, and I'll tell you why. I've never written a movie. Probably never will. Although you may have heard of, I don't know, Citizen Kane. That was me.
Very good.
Yeah. But like, I know that this isn't how you do it. You don't get to like halfway through your second movie and be like, oh shit, I forgot to characterize everybody with a backstory. All right, you go, and then you go, and then you go, and then you go. Hey, we're all caught up. Back to the plot. Dog shit.
Why wasn't this in the first movie?
Well, not only that, that's not how you do it. You don't be like, hey, what's your story? No. You have it naturally happen.
This shit should have been revealed as they picked each one of them up.
Yes.
Oh, I agree.
It's fucking stupid.
Because after this scene, the movie is one scene.
Yes.
It's literally just an hour and a half battle.
Yep. And again, I think that the Nazi guy, he shows up and they start conversing. That's okay. I didn't hate that.
Yes. Is that when Noble's like, I will kill children and the elderly?
Yeah.
If you don't hand yourself over. And she's like, all right, that makes sense, actually.
Yeah. And she goes, and I like how Gunnar was just like, they're lying, idiot.
That was the plan.
They're lying. That was the plan.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's what I gathered from it.
She was merely acting.
Yeah, I think it was all an act because, like, she goes for her going back to say goodbye because they both walked out with these fresh cuts.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, so I think this was all part of the plan because their plan was to get on that ship and disguise themselves as the Imperium.
Yeah, random.
Yeah.
Randos. Okay. I enjoyed the plan. I will say I like the plan.
It's a smart plan.
They put a smoke grenade on the thing, and then they're like, "Oh shit, they're damaged. We better take them on." I thought that was cool. That was good.
Oh yeah. I also like I always love a good fake out when he grabs her gun and shoots the bell.
Yeah, that was cool. That might be it though for me. Although I did like how right when they ring the bell, that platform opens up from the underground trench, and that guy just with the rocket launchers blasts, and the head Nazi guy's like, "Oh shit, brother!"
Yeah, a bunch of guys just come up from the ground. I thought that was cool.
That was cool. I said we got to give credit where credit is due, and when something's cool, we're Again, droplets.
Yeah, here's something stupid. Noble does this underground thing, like he like jumps underground and does a fucking superhero landing. Hulks up and just starts fucking people up.
Yeah, and like they kind of allude to him being part robot,
Yeah.
but like where?
Well, that's the thing. They never expand on him.
No.
It's like, so what is he? Okay, so he's back alive. Is he a full on cyborg? Because they
No
don't
idea.
they don't explain any of that. Why don't we get some of his backstory? You're wasting so much time in this movie with people's backstories. Just give us his too.
Yeah, and like I think he's probably the most like charismatic guy here
Yeah,
because like it's not boring when he's on screen.
I
Like,
agree.
He's good, but can't save this.
This guy in one of the ships gets blown up, and when he sees the bomb, all he says is, "Oh damn."
Yeah.
What? Come on.
Darn it. Ah, shucks.
The bad guys get into the longhouse, and the cyborg lady fights them all off. Noble and Den fight on a ship as it takes off. Den, by the way, was a guy in the first movie who he's... Again, let's remind us of who Den is now. I don't remember.
Oh, Den is the guy who like he fights the head Nazi guy
Yeah,
for a minute.
and
Yeah, okay.
and he falls to his death because Noble
Yeah.
kills him. And then we get, yeah, like you said, the cool scene with the smoke grenade and Cora and Gunnar tricking the dreadnought to take her ship aboard.
Cool stuff.
Titus leads his troops out to fight. Okay, cool. They're fighting. And then Tarek looks at his troops and says, "We can't let Titus and his men do all the work." Was that ever an option? Why did you wait? Why did you need to say that? You didn't. You should have said, "Now's our cue."
Yeah.
We can't let Titus and his men do all the work. One guy from the back. Are you sure?
Yeah. Please?
I'm good to stay behind.
I gotta tie my shoe. You guys go ahead. I gotta tie my shoe. I mean, there's like he says to somebody, he turns to the short-haired girl at some point and he says like, you know, I always dreamed of dying in battle, but now I realize like I don't want to die at all.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, man, that's that would be a pretty decent line in a better movie.
It's you're realizing that now, huh?
Yeah. I like
Bad
how,
time
like,
to come to that realization, asshole.
right when you're about to die, like, oh shit, I didn't want to die at all. Actually, I wanted to make shoes. Actually, that was my calling.
Wouldn't it be funny if he just got up and ran the other way, just left?
Yeah, it would be funny. You know what I find really annoying about this is throughout, like, General Titus, he's the general. Like, everybody's like, oh, everybody's talking him up all the time.
Yeah.
He comes up with the idea for the wheat around the buildings so they don't blow up the buildings. Smart. But then where he's like, all right, it's our turn. He just charges. Nobody takes cover. Everybody just charges out. And there's just lasers going back and forth. And there's just zero consequence. Like, people might be dying, but it's no one we know.
Exactly.
And then there's like just lasers. And then the hippogriff guy, I forget his name. Tarek, he's got
I could be wrong
axe.
on that also. That's just the name I wrote.
Nobody cares. Nobody will ever care about that guy.
I was right. It's Tarek.
He's done it. But like, he runs out with an axe. Everybody's got guns, dude. But it works because there's no consequence here.
Because he's one of the stars of the movie.
Because he's got 6-pack abs, brother.
I do like this. Right as the cyborg lady is going to die, the kid runs out and like stabs a guy.
Yes.
And then she slits his throat.
Off screen.
That's cool as shit. Yeah, well, again, off screen. But I like that. And then she dies. That's the only like meaningful death out of the heroes is Cyborg Lady, Nemesis.
So I'll tell you what, I did not care because again, we got 12 seconds of her backstory.
No, you're fine.
And I think she took a real long time dying. She made a real meal out of that. It was literally back and forth. The kid looking at her.
I know.
Looking at the kid looking at her looking at the kid, and she's like, "You done good," and then dies. Wow. Really? built to something there, didn't you?
You're absolutely right. I guess, listen, if you're getting killed off in the second movie and you're the only one dying, you gotta maximize your minutes, right?
I guess, but maybe have her say something. Maybe don't have her die in fucking slow motion. Everything's in slow motion.
Because then there's more slow motion fighting. We get some silence, and when the silence comes, all the villagers celebrate triumphantly. And I was like, oh, are we done? Is that it?
Yeah, same. I was like, yes, finally.
But no, we all goofed because a fucking army with tanks all of a sudden just show up and start blasting.
The fucking Rebel Moon version of an AT-AT shows up. And it's way lamer.
It is way lamer.
Yeah. It looks like one of those things that live in your eyebrow. What do they call those? Tardigrade? Right?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's like those microscopic little creatures. They look like they got like 6 arms.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The grossies.
Yeah, grossies.
That's a technical term.
It looks like that, but it big and nowhere near as cool.
Ugh. On the ship, Cora and Gunnar act like they're patients. They wake up and attack some dudes. Cora is gonna blow up the the Dreadnought. The villagers and Imperium have a quick shootout as the army approaches. Cora makes her way to the Neuralink and places some explosions on it. The short-haired woman uses a fucking rocket launcher to blow up the tank. That's fun, I guess.
Sure, she was right next to it.
I don't know how she survived.
Yeah, whatever. And then there's another one, so it's like, who cares?
Yeah, exactly. But she's so unbothered by being this close to the explosion that she then just runs through just killing dudes.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Like, that's great that she's a badass. She should kill those dudes on the run-up to shooting that rocket launcher point blank at the tank.
Right. Yeah. And again, like, a lot of it, I'm like, who's who? I don't know who's who because everything's gray, everything's brown. And, like, at least in Star Wars, like, all the stormtroopers, they have an iconic look.
Yeah.
And it's like very easily I could tell who's the good guy and who's the bad guy. But here I'm like, I don't know who she's killing. Is she a good guy? I forget. Like, what's going on? So, like, it, like, design, like, character design is everything in a movie like this.
And at least in Star Wars, the fucking AT-ATs and shit aren't white like the stormtroopers.
Right.
All the tanks are the same color as the armor that all the bad guys wear, so it all just looks like brown mush.
Yeah, it's just brown nonsense. You know what else is brown? The stuff that comes out of my ass.
Very good. Cora is caught. She shoots a guard and then jumps down into the coal room and starts fucking up everyone. Here's a question. Why does this spaceship run on coal? Why does this spaceship have an engine room with men shoveling coal, it seems like? What are we doing?
Into a furnace. Yeah.
Yeah, what?
That's an excellent question, Rob.
What does this spaceship run on?
That's good stuff. I did not even pick that up.
That's fucking, like, I'm sitting there going, what, are we in the Titanic?
Yeah.
The fuck is this? Come on.
That's great. That is so stupid. Wow.
That was the first thing I thought. I was like, this is a bad movie. And then that happened. I was like, okay, that's a new level of stupid.
Yeah. Also, she puts the bombs on the thing, and it's like alive. It looks at her.
I think that's supposed to trigger all those like robots to come back. The Jimmy thing.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm reaching. I'm trying to give the movie something.
Okay.
Because my note on that was literally the Neuralink wakes up or something.
Yeah.
And because that was my analysis, I felt better to skip it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. The action is like decent, but again, a lot of it, because it's in slow-mo, you can see people just waiting to get hit.
Yeah.
And that's not great. I think the action in this is a little better than it was in the first one.
I enjoyed this more than the first one, if I'm being honest.
I think so too. Yeah.
Mainly because it was just a long battle scene.
Yeah. Yeah. This is still horrendous, though.
Yeah, oh no, it's not good.
Yeah.
Because Jimmy then joins the battle and he just goes to town on everybody. He blows up the tank on his own. Korra then does a Jurassic Park 2 gymnastics kick out of an elevator and somehow kicks back like 11 armored men with one kick.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah, she does like a swing and she kicks and like two guys go back and somehow they all get knocked back. I was like, there's no way.
I don't know. I don't. At this point, I was just counting the minutes.
Hey, I don't blame you. Noble confronts Korra as they fire ship blasters at the village. Korra's plan works and the ship fucking explodes, which is cool.
Yeah, I did like the set piece in which the final fight occurs is like a ship falling out of the sky.
Yeah, as they fight
That's
with
cool.
not lightsabers.
Yeah, laser swords.
Yeah.
Also, they didn't allude to her being like a swordsman at all. And they didn't allude to him being a swordsman at all. But they they got this.
Listen, I don't care. They're just trained in that military. Whatever, fine.
Sure.
Sure.
I did like how in the fight, they're sliding down the ship.
Yeah.
And at one point she like catches something and Gunner, who had just been shot, just slides past her and he's like, Korra. She completely ignores him and goes back to the fight. I thought that was fucking hilarious.
You know what I didn't need during that sliding down? The slow motion of Noble like missing his sword. I was like, come on. Like he looks like a goof. That looked horrible.
I find most of the CGI in this looked really good. I didn't really see any. I mean, I think maybe the environments were a little, like we said, they look like it's a set.
Yeah.
But or like clearly green screen. But other than that, that's just such a like 2007 shot.
Yeah.
That we're talking about, like
slowly falling past.
Oh, like that was in Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, but it's just good because you slow it down, and then all his facial contortions just look ridiculous.
Yeah. He also lands on his neck like a couple times, and he just gets up. So it's like, all right, he's a robot, I guess.
I guess. Well, then Noble is choking Korra, and Gunner stabs him, and then Korra, I guess, slices his head off, but it's hard to tell.
Yeah, I'm assuming because fucking Zack Snyder's like, oh, the director's cut is much better. It's going to be R-rated and going to have a lot of blood. Hey, Zach, didn't Netflix give you full control? What are you fucking talking about?
Yeah, I don't understand.
The director's cut. This is the director's cut, you cocksucker. I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
He seems like a nice guy, but he's playing us.
Yeah, you're 100% right.
You made a bad movie.
You
made one bad movie that you cut in half. At the wrong part.
Imagine sitting here watching this in one like 4.5 hour block.
Oh my god, I'd rather make out with a shotgun, Robbie.
Gunner dies, and then the army from the end of the first movie just randomly shows up and takes out the rest of the bad guys.
Right in the nick of time, Robbie.
Thank God. And then Titus reveals that Princess Issa is still alive. I guess there's going to be a third one.
Oh, happy day. Gunner took a while to die, too. I did like how he's like dying, and she's like, oh, look, we're saved. Gunner? Oh, no. Like he died like as
You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay.
Like as she's looking up, she's like, oh, my God, we're saved. She looks back down. He died. That's funny.
Are you a doctor, Gunner? I don't think so.
I also like they're telling each other, I love you. And it just reminded me of like in the first one where what's his name, the Han Solo guy who turned on them. He was like,
I don't remember.
Who cares? He goes, you love her, and he's like, huh? And it's like that was never alluded to in the entire movie, and now it's like the fuck. That's what you end on. He's like, oh, we've been in love the whole time. Fuck you and fuck this.
Should we go to Letterboxd?
Let me look. Let me look if I have any more rants to fucking go on. Oh, her big secret is revealed. Like at the end, she's like, "Oh,
I killed a kid."
Yeah, I killed the kid, and everybody's like, "Yeah, we know." It's cool. She's still alive.
She went,
It's like-
I killed a kid. Is anyone turned on?
Anybody try to fuck? Well, like, that's her big reveal. She says it, and everybody's like, we don't really give a shit.
Yeah, that's
Anyway,
fine. Who hasn't?
You trying to set up the next movie? It's bad. This is bad.
It is bad.
But Zack Snyder, saying things like, he's given full creative control and then being like, my version's better. This is your version, asshole.
Yeah, you can't say you've given full creative control and then tell us there's going to be a director's cut.
Yeah, like, I think it's just like, I think he's banking off the whole director's cut thing, like, because Justice League director's cut was, and like, I don't know.
Release the Snyder cut was such a big thing.
I think he's like, let's do that again.
Yeah.
Or Netflix is like, let's do that again. It might not be him. I don't know. Letterboxd. Ravi.
I'm on Letterboxd.
It was bad enough to relive this movie.
Right now I have 1 star because it was made.
Yeah, I'd go half a star.
All right, I'll do that. Because I don't even think it was a full movie.
No, this is it's weird to me. I think I spoke on this last time that, like, I understand that his movies draw people in. What people, I don't know. I've never met one. But, like, you give creative control to this guy, and you think this is like his 12th movie or some shit.
Yeah.
You would think he knows how, like, storytelling works, but he doesn't. He doesn't set anything up. Like, it's all just like, look at how cool this is. It's like, but it's not even that cool, dude.
I don't know what I'm watching here.
Yeah, like, even if I was 12 and watching it, I was like, what even is this, dude? Set something up. Like, give me a reason to give a shit.
Andy, they're going to go find the princess. She's in another castle.
Fucking princess?
The girl that died, Andy.
Yeah, but who fucking... She said one
Andy.
thing. She said, I forgive you.
Andy, it's that child who the star of the movie we're supposed to be rooting for murdered while she was a Nazi.
Boo. It's just...
It's like
all
watching...
seems very rushed as well. It's just like, this happened. It's whatever. And like, editors are like, oh, I think we need to... It's like, no time. There's no time. There's no time to edit.
It's like watching a movie that focuses on the Nazi who felt kind of bad about capturing Anne Frank.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's bad. This is bad. And it's a half a star movie. And it's lucky to get that.
Because that's the lowest Letterboxd goes.
Yeah.
I have 4 trivias.
I have 1.
I'll go first.
Go ahead.
At the beginning of the movie, how long until the Imperium arrives, even though Noble is dead? A week, 5 days, 3 days, by tomorrow night?
5 days.
Correct. During the training sessions, Titus says Cora's ship is in the mountains to the north, south, east, or west.
South?
No.
North?
No.
West?
No.
East?
Yes.
Nailed it.
What's your question, Andy? Ask me your trivia.
Okay. Zack Snyder, while on your favorite podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience.
Yes.
He said he claimed that Rebel Moon Part 1, if it were to be released in theaters, would have grossed this much money. Is it $1 billion? $1.5 billion? $1.6 billion? Or $2 billion?
1.6 billion.
Correct.
Yeah, I was like, there's no way he said 2.
He said it would have made more than Barbie and Oppenheimer.
He's a fool.
Because Netflix said, so, like, this many people watched it. And
that means nothing.
First off, no.
People watch what's on Netflix because they have nothing else to do.
Yes. And that's why Netflix gets more views than people who go to the theater.
Yeah.
Convenient. Also, Netflix, their metric is all fucked up. They think like one household is like 4 people. And I don't know about you, I was the only one watching Rebel Moon in my house.
Laura was definitely on the couch next to me doing other things the whole time.
Okay. Well, my wife sat for the first, 20 minutes of this one, and she was like, I gotta go. I was like, take me with you, please.
The technical name for Jimmy the Robot is JC 1435, JC 1492, JC 1776, JC 1916.
What was the first one?
JC 1435.
I'm gonna go with that one.
That is correct, yes.
Hell yeah, bro.
Nemesis, the cyborg lady, came from what type of village? Hunting, gathering, scavenging, fishing.
Scavenging.
No.
Gathering.
No.
Fishing?
Yes. Very good, Andy. I wrote a song.
One might say that I also wrote a song. And that one is me.
Excellent, excellent. I also have a pick to flip.
Flip that shit, Robbie.
You didn't call it. Let me flip it again. Okay, it landed on tails, but let me flip it again so it's more organic. Ready?
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Heads.
It's heads.
Hey. All right. You go first, Robbie.
Sure. My song is called How I Got Here, and it focuses on that scene where they just sit around telling everybody their backstories.
Oh, yeah. Best scene in the movie.
That's the only scene with dialogue.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's really just them talking about all their, how they got here, all the kids they killed. And, here's my song. It's called How I Got Here.
All the men died right before my eyes. All the men lied, that's how I got here. My name is a disgrace, I can never show my face. My life is such a waste, that's how I got here. I can tell you what I done is wrong. I can tell you all my nights, they're sleepless and long. They deployed their droids, my village got destroyed. Swept into the void, that's how I got here. Took it by a savior, took on their behavior. We asked them a favor, how I got here. I can tell you what I done is wrong. And there is bloodshed in each soul. The blood can only spill so long. We believe in peace, now my people are deceased. Gotta pick up every piece, that's how I got here. Do it for the slain, my rage is in my pain. I'll die in their name, that's how I got here. I can tell you what I done is wrong. I can tell you all my nights, they're sleepless and long. We were royalty, but I lost my family. They died in front of me, that's how I got here. The king was put to sleep and the queen took a leap. Just my sanity to keep, that's how I got here. I can tell you what I done is wrong. And there is bloodshed in each soul. The blood can only spill so long.
That was my song called How I Got Here.
That was good. I like that a lot.
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah, it was literally just them being like, I watched my men die. And then the other one would be like, I have a very generic backstory about my village getting destroyed.
Yeah.
The one would be like, I turned myself into a cyborg. And the last one being like, I let my mom jump.
Yeah. That sums it up.
They said, I was going to have 2 Christmases. I said, I only want one. So I let my mom jump.
That's good.
Eddie, tell us about your song.
My song's called Slow Motion and Blood Part 2. I was going to call it Slow Motion and Blood Part 2, The Caregiver. Who's that? Not me. I don't care about this movie. But that seemed a bit long.
I would have been pissed, if I'm being honest. That would have been a struggle to create a graphic for that.
Yeah.
Fucking
that's
an Andre 3000 ass name right there for the song.
Yeah, it's like a Fallout Boy or Coheed and Cambria type name. I tried some stuff. I reused we'll just talk about it after.
Okay.
It's called Slow Motion and Blood Part 2, and it goes like this. Another space farmer to control the fate of the galaxy. Another lingering shot of nothing to put us all to sleep. Another rebuilt bad guy to carry the will of the real bad guy. Another backstory in order to fill up screen time. I know that art is derived from many influences, but you can't just take stuff and use it with no differences. Slow motion and blood set in place instead of lore. Slow motion and blood. This ain't your dad's Star Wars. Slow motion and blood. Set in place instead of lore. Slow motion and blood. This ain't your dad's Star Wars. Slow motion and blood. Set in place instead of lore. Slow motion and blood. This ain't your dad's Star Wars. Slow motion and blood. Set in place instead of lore. Slow motion and blood. This ain't your dad's Star Wars. No. That's Slow Motion Blood Part 2.
I enjoyed that. I like the piano coming in at the end there. I thought that was that came in really well, that transition.
Yeah, I faded out the everything else and I faded in the piano.
What was that at the very beginning?
I was hold on, let me look. That was a Calesta?
Wow, it sounded cool.
Celesta? I don't know. It's on my Yamaha $100 keyboard. Throw some reverb on that bad boy. Sounds like the real thing, baby.
No, that was cool. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's the PSR 170, what it's called. Says
Oh.
it right here.
Purple. Sorry, go ahead.
Yep. No, you keep going.
The purple sage red 170.
It's a lot of colors, Robbie. All right. It's 2 colors and a spice.
The penis sac rectum 170.
There it is. That's why you tune in, baby.
Yeah.
I reused the chords from the last song, Slow Motion and Blood Part 1, the No, I'm sorry. So I thought it was a really cool chord progression because it's like weird and chromatic. Like it goes like F sharp minor to like an F something and then to like an E something and then back to an F major. And I was like, wow, that's cool. Too bad I wasted it on this dog shit movie. So I wasted it again on this dog shit movie. But
I often write songs I like about movies I don't like. So
I mean, I try to make it a song I like for every movie, but like, not to say I didn't like the other one, but it was just piano and vocal, and well, that's doesn't make for a bad song. It's just like, what else can I do with this? And I did struggle at first. I was like, how can I reuse these chords, but like in a full band type situation? And that's when I stumbled upon the
the kaleidoscope.
The kaleidoscope. And I said, "Oh, that sounds cool and creepy." And then I threw the bass on there on the keyboard, and I was like, "Oh, let me follow that." So that's what you go, doom, doom, bing, and I was like, "Okay, that's cool." And then I always like the chorus, the slow motion blood, poop in your pants and it smells real bad. Yeah, that part.
I do know that part.
Weird.
It is weird, isn't it?
Yeah. So I recycled a thing from the last movie and
Remichaeled.
Very good, Robbie. I hope that there's never any more Rebel Moons. I wish Zack Snyder the best. Like I'm happy to see that he's given creative. That's like what any director could want. But the fact that you were given full creative control and you made the worst movie you've ever made speaks such
twice.
Volume. Yeah, twice. It shows that you need somebody to rein your dumb ass in, dude. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Oh boy.
That's what he needs. He needs somebody to be like, "Hey, you can't do that because it's bad. You need to characterize the characters in your movie, idiot." And he's like, "Nah, check this out." And then they do a slow motion backflip, and they're like, "No, that's still not story.
That's a special effect."
Yes. God, this guy sucks. And I like some of his stuff. 300 is a fine movie from memory.
I saw that once in high school and I liked it.
Yeah.
That could also be why I liked it.
I kind of like the Snyder cut of Justice League.
Yeah. It made more sense.
Yeah. It wasn't dog shit.
It was very long.
Yes, it needed an editor really badly. I like that. I kind of like Man of Steel. It's all right.
Yeah.
I don't know. This guy, somebody's got to rein him in.
I agree. I totally agree with that. I think that happens a lot.
Dawn of the Dead was good.
I never saw it. Yeah, I never saw Dawn of the Dead. So
the original is better, but his is fine. The zombies are fast, so it's more intense.
Well, that's good. That makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway, Robbie, what are we doing next week?
Next week we are doing John Wick, Chapter 2.
John Wick Dux.
A good sequel.
Yeah, to a good franchise.
Yeah. Andy, where can they hear all of our music?
I'm so glad you asked. You could go to Spotify. You could go to Apple Music. You could go to Deezer. Wherever you get your music and you type in The Royds, you will find 2 albums and a Christmas song of original stuff that we have written not about movies. And then you could find a bunch of the podcast songs on several collections. As of right now, we're at collection number 8. So there are 8 collections of our podcast songs. If you want to hear every single one of the podcast songs, including guest tracks, you go to TheRoyds.bandcamp.com and you will find well over 200 songs. And that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Robbie, the socials.
You go to Instagram. You can go to Spotify. No, wait. You can go to Instagram. You can go to Threads. You can go to X. You can go to TikTok for a while. I don't know how much longer you're going to be able to do that.
Who knows?
I said X already. You can go to YouTube. You type in TheRoydsBand. There we are. You can send us an email at roydsreview@gmail.com. You can request a movie, give us some feedback, whatever you want to do, send us an email. We would appreciate hearing from you. And if you're listening on YouTube, leave a comment below. But regardless of where you're listening, leave a 5-star review. That really helps.
Yes, we appreciate you listening. We love you. I love you. I'm in love with you.
Uh-oh, Andy, relax. Take
Don't
a deep
ever
breath.
leave me. Don't
Take
ever
a deep
leave
breath.
me.
Take a deep
Okay.
breath.
Okay, I'm good.
Good.
Well, next week, John Wick 2.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.